Okay, welcome back to the channel. Episode 3 of our bad habits in recruitment. This is a good one, very common again. I've seen this throughout my years in recruitment. So what is today's bad habit?
It's working with candidates that don't want to share their CV or some personal information, basically. So yeah, Matt, tell me a scenario.
The guy has all my information. So what?
You manage to speak to a candidate, you get all their information, and you say to the candidate, can you share me your CV? And they'll say something like, well, come back to me with some jobs first.
Yeah, or you can use my LinkedIn.
Or even worse, use my LinkedIn profile and you make the CV for me. Very, very common. If you say yes to that, why is that a bad habit?
Well, again, you start with having no control over the candidate. And also you got no information, basically, because a LinkedIn profile is not a CV, it's not an official document, first of all, where CV, it is an official document. Could get you in a lot of troubles because maybe candidate omitted some information, like a couple of job changes that were a bit too short to mention maybe to clients.
It's classic theme in any area of recruitment. So commitment means cash. So you're always looking for commitment on the client side and the candidate side. If a candidate isn't even willing or isn't even bothered to make their CV, then the chances of you, like you say, having any control, the chances of them actually
wasting your time
is incredibly high. You should never be in a situation where you are writing a CV for the candidate based on their LinkedIn profile. Listen, maybe a candidate sends you a CV and you might want to help them tidy it up a little bit.
Of course, yeah.
Fine. We can give that advice as part of the service.
The candidate also doesn't want to share maybe their salary. If you want to have a proper negotiation, you need to know where you're starting and when you want to finish your negotiation, right?
So when a candidate says to me, look, I don't want to share my salary, I need to explain to them that when I match a candidate to a job, I need to know what your minimum salary expectation is at the very least, right? What are you earning currently? What do you need as a minimum? And I need to understand if there's a big gap between that, how I'm going to sell you to achieve your minimum and to bridge the gap. And when I'm matching, if you tell me your minimum salary is 10 million yen, we've got thousands of candidates. If we get a job at 9.99, I'm not going to send you that job.
Also, from a client perspective, you want to know the value of your candidate, right? If the candidate is not trustworthy and transparent enough from the beginning, as a client, not even as a recruiter, I will have my concern on actually hiring this guy.
I think point number 2 on this also is that I understand that in different markets, there is this argument, which I think is fair, that it shouldn't really matter what the candidate's current salary is. Do they have the skills for the job? And the client should assess them based on their skills and pay them the rate which they think is appropriate. But in Japan, unfortunately, nearly every single job offer that we get requires the candidates to send their pay slips before the offer is released.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, right? So we can't avoid this conversation. Much better for us to know earlier exactly what you're on, understand which areas we're gonna have to negotiate with the client, rather than have some big surprise at the end when there's a huge gap on your expectation and what you've been earning.
Some candidates might feel like, oh, well, I'm underpaid and, I don't want to share the fact that I'm underpaid because that might prevent me from getting a big salary increase. I have to disagree with that. If for whatever reason the candidate is underpaid, that's not a problem at all. You should be honest and transparent with your recruiter. And if your recruiter is a good recruiter, will help you bridge that gap. And the client should understand the situation that you're underpaid and actually make you an offer that is much better if they really want to, if you perform in the interview, and if the recruiter that you're using is good enough to do a proper negotiation, In recruitment, within, I think, any methodology, you need to address and find the gaps or find the potential issue within that deal and tackle them straight away. Unfortunately, if you're dealing with candidates that they are unwilling to, share information, or they even on purpose withdraw information from the process, then that will impact your chances of closing that deal and helping that candidate out.